Well, welcome to the 700 Club. Israel's foreign minister, speaking at the NATO summit in Washington, had a warning for the world. We must stop Iran before it's too late.
Tehran is backing both Hamas and Hezbollah. Defeating Hezbollah poses the greater challenge by far and puts Israel on the front lines of a potential global war. Chris Mitchell reports from the northern border.
Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant reported the IDF achievements to the Knesset after 9 months of fighting.
We eliminated or wounded 60% of the Hamas terrorists. We disbanded the 24 battalions, or the vast majority of them. We've returned half of the hostages, and we're determined to return the rest.
Hamas fighters are moving from place to place inside Gaza, forcing the IDF to re-enter places like Gaza City while urging civilians to evacuate.
We want to get civilians out of harm's way. We have no interest in harming civilians in Gaza City or anywhere else.
On Israel's northern border, Hezbollah continues to fire drones, missiles, and rockets into northern Israel. This week, Hezbollah released a video showing its surveillance of Israel's military sites in northern Israel, including Iron Dome installations. Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah says it will stop its attacks if Israel agrees to a ceasefire with Hamas, but with a condition.
If the Israelis want to continue and attack southern Lebanon, then we will also defend Lebanon, South Lebanon, our people, and our dignity.
After thousands of Hezbollah rockets and missiles, most of the communities next to the Lebanese border stand nearly empty. We're about 200 meters, maybe about 600 feet from the Lebanese border. We're in Kibbutz Malkiah, once a thriving agricultural community, but now, like dozens of other communities on the Israeli-Lebanese border, mainly deserted, and most of its residents scattered throughout all of Israel. We sat down with Itai Krois, the head of Kibbutz Malkiah and the grandson of Holocaust survivors.
We are standing with our back to the wall. For us, it's a war of surviving. We have no other place. It's a small country. We cannot go to another place inside Israel or from outside Israel. So we have no choice. We have to fight for our lives.
Krois warns his kibbutz and Israel stand on the front lines of a global war.
It's not our personal war. Tomorrow it can happen everywhere. It means that if we will not stop this terror and these attacks in the Middle East, it can happen everywhere. All this fundamentalistic organization that build themselves an army and they say we want to conquer the world and make the world Muslim with power. It can happen in France. It can happen in the USA. We saw what happened in the universities in New York.
At the NATO summit in Washington, Israel's foreign minister called on member states to take strong action against Iran, which sponsors both Hezbollah and Hamas. Israel Katz tweeted, "Iran is a common threat to Israel, NATO, and to Europe. We must stop Iran now before it's too late." Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Kibbutz Malkiah, Israel.
Now more it's ever, it's time for what we've always called the free world, the Western democracies, to stand in solidarity with Israel. This is a terror threat, and it's based on ideology that is fundamentally flawed and, from a moral standpoint, absolutely wrong. What Hezbollah and Hamas want to do is wipe Israel off the map. They want to kill every single Jew. That is a call to genocide. That's a call to jihad. That is a call that is resonating right now within the fundamentalist Muslim community. That idea has to be defeated, and the way you do that is to say, we won't give on this. We will, if you attack Israel, if you say you're going to repeat October 7 again and again and again, well, then you cannot exist. This has to stop. So if you want to fire rockets into Israel from southern Lebanon, that has to stop. If you want to launch terror attacks in Israel, that has to stop. If you want to launch attacks from Gaza, that has to stop. And you can't have any equivocation. There needs to be unity here that no, we want peace in the Middle East. We don't want this continual violence and continual threat against Israel. Israel was established by international law, by UN mandate. That needs to be held together by the UN and by the world community, and especially the United States and Europe, aligned together to say, not on our watch, you don't get to do this. In other news, Congress is expanding its investigation into the rise of anti-Semitism right here in America. Gary Lane has that story and more from the CBN Newsroom. Gary?
Gordon, after investigating college campuses, lawmakers are now looking into problems in the workforce. As CBN's John Jessup reports, all this comes as anti-Semitic incidents have dramatically increased in the past 9 months.
Those incidents jumped 360% after the October 7th attack and war in Gaza. With documented anti-Semitic examples in schools, synagogues, and the workplace, lawmakers have turned their attention to labor and student unions.
From the river to the sea.
While scenes like these may no longer be plastered across our screens, anti-Semitism has not retreated, leading Democrats to join Republicans in condemning violence against Jews.
I want to be very clear that anti-Semitism has no place in any workplace, in any school, in any union, or any other facet of American life.
Discussion then quickly diverged on the goal of this hearing.
For some reason, many union leaders would rather double down on defending a terrorist organization than focus on local workers' issues.
Democrats defending the overall influence of unions.
From the civil rights movement to marriage equality and protections for undocumented workers, unions have been on the forefront of social and socioeconomic progress.
And Republicans questioning whether they've engaged in partisan politics and, in this case, promoting anti-Semitic conduct among members who pay dues to be a part of those unions. Tuesday's hearing featured personal accounts of anti-Semitism from Jews who say their unions left them feeling coerced and threatened.
It is heartbreaking for me as a Jewish American and as a Zionist to have my phone ringing off the hook every single day since October 7th by students, workers, teachers, legal aid lawyers, doctors saying, how do I get out of this?
I've tried to use the law as it exists, and at every turn, the law has failed me.
One witness summarized her goal for Tuesday's testimony.
I'm not here to weaken the union, but to strengthen it. The union is tearing itself apart.
And while critics argue these hearings and recent congressional subpoenas are a backdoor way of targeting unions, supporters say they'll continue to root out anti-Semitism any place it exists. John Jessup, CBN News, Washington.